Yes, I appreciate
Thank
it.
you for having me.
Oh, yes, we were
I've
so
been like
excited.
so nervous about this all day.
Oh no! We're just gonna hang out and chit chat, pick your brain a little bit on the amazing work that you did, and we're looking forward to it. I know a lot of us on book club signed up for your arc that you have for your upcoming release, so
Oh my gosh. Like this is okay. So I am overwhelmed by the response on Back to Reality because my betas I had El Clara, which I think y'all know who she is. I
mhm.
think she's been on there, and Tess Waters beta read. And
Okay.
they El Clara messaged her street team and told them about it and put it in her newsletter. Like they love it. This Back to Reality is like my little goofy book, and much because Picture of Anger is it's very emotional, but it's just like the tip of the iceberg to the rest of the series as
Okay.
far as like trauma and grief and stuff. So that was kind of like because the second book I pulled from some personal experience, and I got to like chapter 15 and I had to take a step back because I was triggering myself. And so I was just watching reruns of Jersey Shore and this story popped in my head. And yeah, and
I love that
like,
that was your comfort. Jersey
yeah,
Shore, that's amazing.
I was born in 88. I mean, what can I say?
No, that makes sense. Well, while everybody funnels in, would you mind introducing yourself and telling us a little bit about yourself?
Okay, so I am Marissa Durham. Um, y'all may know me as Marissa Loves Books. I would have been a book talker since 2022, and last year I had a dream. I took it to two of my author friends, and they said you need to. And I was like, "Hey, I got a book idea." And he's like, and I told him, and I basically plotted out the whole book. And he was like, "You need to write that. That means that
Yes.
that's your story. You need to write it." Well, it's not like my personal story. It's all fiction, of course.
Right.
Um, I did pull through, like the grandmother in it is named Flora. That is my mama's name,
Okay.
and their relationship when how it grew to what it was is how me and her was. I was my best friend. Um, but I sat down June of last year, and I had Picture of Anger written in 8 weeks, and I didn't think I was going
Wow.
to publish it.
Okay.
It was like Jasper and Katie wouldn't shut up, especially Jasper. He still won't shut up. But I wrote it in 8 weeks, and then I've been very lucky. Um, and I have to like give props to the book community because if I wasn't a book talker and had the relationships I had with indie authors,
Mhm.
there's no telling how bad Picture of Anger would have been. I had a lot of help as far as people spending their time editing my book for free to help me make it as what it is, which is readable because the first draft really wasn't. It read like a movie
At least
script.
you got it on paper. That's a lot further than a lot of people get with their ideas.
Let
So
me
we got to
put it.
commend you for doing that.
The first draft was 47,000 words. By the time Picture of the Anger was done, it's
Mhm.
72,000.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So I was very lucky. So I will say that even if you don't think you'll ever write a book, or if you think that, hey, I'm just a little book talker, I'm not really doing anything, you are. You are. You're making relationships that you don't know that you may, you know, need one day. And I don't want to say need like, I had no plans on writing a book. So it wasn't like I was making author friends, for this reason. I never
Right.
thought if you ever see me text somebody, you would understand um what I mean. Like I don't know what a punctuation mark is when I text.
I'm the
And
same way.
so like it what you do in the community, no matter how big, how small, it does matter. Somewhere you recommending a book for an indie author a year or two ago, you never know how much that stuck with them. So it really helped me out with Picture of Anger.
I'm so glad that you found a community that was so supportive for you because you always see like the bad side of book talk, especially as of late. But I genuinely think there are people in book talk that are just here for books and to help and to spread the word. So I'm glad that you were able to find that
I well,
positive group.
my absolute best friend in this whole wide world is Mama Cass Reads.
Mm.
Like that's my best friend, and I met her through Book Talk.
Oh, that's amazing.
And that's the thing. Like, yeah, there's a lot of drama going on, but you don't have to
Right.
participate.
No, yeah, 100%.
You don't. You can make your own decision about things and, go on about your day. But when you come on here and you willingly, when you come on here and you willingly just want to find a community, like me and Cass are both stay at home moms. Like our kids are always around us. We had no like human interaction really. And
Yep.
then you find people that's in the same interest as you. You don't have to like the same exact books.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Like, you don't have to still have that. And I think somewhere we divided ourselves.
Mhm.
Um, like, and somewhere in 2023, 2020, early 2024, we started like, well, okay, well, we got dark romance readers. We got this kind of, just read.
Just readers. Yep.
Read. And, just because you may like, I'm a dark romance reader myself. I lean more towards dark romance. Picture of Anger is contemporary as it is
Yeah.
contemporary. Back to Reality, which is a different series, obviously. It's a rom com. Like what I read is not what I wrote.
Yeah.
So I
No,
mean,
and
we
I
have a
love
little bit of
that.
everything in
Yeah.
us. So that's why, like, I at first I was kind of nervous to come out as an author. Like, hey, I wrote a book because I was in book talk, and I didn't want to be like,
Right.
oh, so she started reading, so now she can write. It wasn't that, trust me, because I fought it. Like I said, I wrote Picture of Anger in 8 weeks last summer, and I didn't put it out till March of this year
Yeah.
because I had to be talked heavily into publishing that book
Okay.
because it
What
was just
was your writing process in the beginning getting started? I know you said you wrote it in 8 weeks, and I find that like super impressive, especially as a stay-at-home mom. Like you have to be busy. So how did you make time and how did you plot and write the book? What was your process?
so. The night that I had the dream, I woke up the next morning. Like I said, I talked to Tess and I talked to Rose, and that afternoon, my husband just so happened it was a Thursday, but my husband was off work. And I sat down at my computer and I just started typing. I was just, and I didn't start where I dreamed. What I had dreamed was actually like the climactic part of the book.
Mhm.
I just started with knock, knock, knock.
Okay.
And I'm one of those writers. I don't write like a chapter here and go back and then write another. I write 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Okay.
Like I get to about chapter 9 or 10 or so, and then I'll start like trying to plot out because I know where the story needs to end,
Right.
and I know how long I kind of want the book to be because I'm not a long writer. My books are always going to be between probably 50 to 80,000 words.
Okay.
You know, because like I said, when you read books a lot of us a lot of times will be like a quick read. It was a quick read. It was a quick read. It was a quick read. And that's kind of like a thing, And so that's how I write. I'm not just going, I know that I could probably add other chapters, but if the story's flowing, I just let it flow.
Okay.
Um, but I sat down and that first day I wrote the first 5 chapters.
Okay.
And after that, it was, I would, I'm a photographer too. If I didn't have sessions, I'd get up, feed the kids, clean up, and sit down and write. Every spare moment I had, I was writing.
Okay.
And sometimes, and I wouldn't stop in the middle of a chapter either. I would be up to 3 o'clock in the morning and turn around and get up at 6:30. And then when I got about halfway, a friend like was editing it for me. She started editing it and helped me make it. And then it was actually done, like completely edited, ready to go to betas like October of last year.
Okay. Wow.
And I didn't send it to betas to January the 1st. Like I went back and forth. I was so nervous putting this book out. I was
Mhm.
so nervous because I know like I'm a photographer. Like I went to, school for art, not English. And I know my book's not the fanciest written book, but I do think I have a good story.
I actually
That
really liked how you started off the book, because I am a very fickle reader. If I am not intrigued, I'll just like hop and hop and hop and hop around books. But your book, it almost was like I heard your voice in a very unique way. It wasn't like how I normally read books. So I started it, and next thing you know, I look up and I'm 200 pages deep, and I'm like, I really just didn't notice time flying because I
that's
could like
actually,
hear everything going.
that's actually like the biggest thing people say to me that I did not expect was that they read it in a day,
Yeah.
that they couldn't put it down. And I know it's fast paced. I know it's very fast paced, like, but I, I don't want to write extra. Like, everybody has their own writing style, and I appreciate all. My favorite book of all time. Hey, my favorite book of all times is The Words by Ashley Jade.
Oh my gosh, I love that book.
That is my favorite book. I have listened to that book. I know at least 500 times.
Yep. It's a
And you
great
know
book.
how thick that book is. So I'm
Yep.
not saying anything about wait anybody. It's just me. I don't. If I feel like I'm getting bored writing it, I'm moving on.
Yes.
Like, I mean, I one of my biggest arguments I have with my editor, is SM Ivins. She wrote Wide Open.
Okay.
That's my editor, and one of our biggest arguments is like she'll be like, "Show me, don't tell me," and I'll show her a little bit, and she's like, "You could have shown more than that." I was like, "No, it's fine, go." But it, I just published my biggest book, and it was exciting. I'm so
Oh,
proud. Like, I
congratulations.
know the second book in this series. I guess I need to talk about the book instead of myself. I'm so sorry.
No, I want to hear about both. Yes. Tell us it all. We want it all.
But um now my second book, it'll be a little bit longer. It's probably gonna be the biggest out of all of them. Um because I did not expect people to fall in love with Dad like they did.
Okay.
Um I got at first, like with my beta readers, I was a little upset. I was a little mad. I was like, wait a minute. They was like, oh my God, that is so perfect. Oh my God, I love that. I was like, what about Jasper? And I was like, nah, Jasper's good, but Thad. And then I sit back and I think, well, you did write a 6'7", or I think it's 6 foot, or no, I don't know, 6'5". I think I'm shortening, but anyway, no, it's 6'7". Sorry, I was like, well, you did write a 6'7", broody blonde, long blonde haired guy that like just was that like best friend, like kind of person. Like for
Mhm.
all of us girls have a guy best friend, that's more like a brother, but
Right.
that's the one that's going to protect you no more. So everybody fell in love with that, and I knew where, like I've already plotted out. Like I already know every character for all 5 books. Obviously, first ones I've already know their tropes. Hey Jennifer, I already know their tropes. I already know like basics of their stories,
Mhm.
and I knew I was going to write Dad's book. I did not expect people to give me over right, like they're like I need it now. And I actually had an author friend, a well known author, like she's really well known. tell me, she was like, if I was you, I would put Thad's book last because it's
Yep.
what everybody wants. Can't do it. Like, their his and Jess's story are next.
Right.
Like, that's their stories next. So I couldn't do that, and that book's hard. Oh, I broke my own heart writing that.
What has
But
inspired you to, I know you said the dream inspired you for your first book. What is inspiring you for your next books?
the
Since you
grief
have them plotted
series,
out.
every book is based on a stage of grief that the couple
Okay.
has personally have is personally like dealing with. Picture of
Okay.
anger, obviously, is anger. um, Katie's mad because her mother, her best friend, like her single mother who worked her whole life to provide everything for her, was just taken from her. She was
Yeah.
unfortunately, her life ended in a car accident unexpectedly,
Mm.
not at her own hands.
Okay.
And Jasper, he's angry because his life that he had worked so hard to make and to get out and under his father, one little mistake one night put him right back under his father.
Right.
So they're both angry. And while I was writing, I ain't gonna lie, I wasn't in like a quarter of a way of Picture of Anger when the idea come to me about having each stage be a book on grief. Or like each stage of grief be the title of a book. Like the next book in the series is The Bargain We Made, which is obviously bargaining.
Right.
And I guess I can give you a little sneak peek on like kind of about what it's a little bit about.
Do tell.
So
My ears are burning.
so this one, the reason this one is so hard and will be very triggering, and it's still contemporary, but it's got dark undertones, really dark undertones, is both characters, Thad and Jess, have a pass of SA.
Okay.
And the reason it's called bargaining is because Jess, if you've read Picture of Anger, you know that Jess had a boyfriend named Chris.
Right.
Dingle Hopper, like, ugh. Well, you find out that Chris was very abusive to her and made her do things that she did not want to do, which is still SA, even if you're in a relationship. But
100%.
her bargaining is that, well, I eventually gave in. So it's not that I did it; it's on me. I'm the dirty one. I'm the one that allowed it. Kind of deal.
The
And so
trauma
that's why it's
response.
bargaining. And then Thad has a situation, but that's kind of can't really tell much on that. But the prologue of Bargain I wrote literally from memory, and I wrote it before I finished this book, and I sent it to Savannah, and she said, I can tell you put your heart and soul in that. And I was like, yeah, that hurt. I said, I can't touch this for a while. And that's why, and I didn't know I was going to write back to reality. I didn't know I was going to write a Jersey Shore book. I had no plans. I was just going to write my 5 books and be done.
Right.
Like now, I've got like 15 like starts of books on my computer, but it was just going to be this one and then the 5 because, like I said, the characters start talking, and
Right.
now the back to reality is turning into like, but it's not like this one. This one kind of like it's interconnected, but it leaves you wanting the next one.
Hmm.
Back to reality, it's interconnected, but they're very, you're clear cut, you're fine.
Hmm.
Because everybody's like, you left me on a cliffhanger. I didn't leave you on a cliffhanger. Their story is done. They got their happy ever after.
Right. You're
So
just
that,
craving the next one.
yeah, like, but that was like one of the biggest things that I've got, and I understand it. I'm not, complaining or nothing like that. I think people think I did it intentionally, but I didn't. Say because like to me it wasn't a cliffhanger. You know,
Right.
it's giving you it's a taste of like, oh, what's going to happen next. Like it's letting you know there's going to be a next book. Um, but some people see it as a cliffhanger, and I think it's because even though I didn't say it, and I didn't tell people till May that it was Thad and Jess's book,
Okay.
and I left people guessing. But
We
I
always get
think it's
angry
because
about that.
people wanted that book, and
Right.
a lot of people in my hometown, the majority of my book sales have come from my hometown.
Oh, that's amazing.
They
That's
have,
supportive.
they have, I love my little small town. Um, I've had two book signings here in my town.
That's awesome.
And the first one, the day of release, I sold out of my books.
That's
And I mean,
amazing.
I just re-upped and I think I got like 10 over here. That's it. So I do love my hometown, but some of them have personally like called me and been like, "Hey, what are you doing?" And I'm like, "Oh, I'm just sitting here like, oh, you should be writing." I'm like, "Leave me alone." So
I am the
it's
same
true.
way though. After I finish a really good book and I go in and go to the author, I'm like, hey, just like, when's the next one coming out? Like, I know you just dropped this one 2 weeks ago, but like, when is the next one?
That's another thing I want to say, like for book talkers out there, especially because I think there's a lot of people that's coming into the community now. And
Mhm.
I can see that, and I hope everybody else can too. I can see the shift going back to reading and back to book recommendations, which I absolutely love. And it's because we are getting newer people that's picking up. And that's the whole point of like a book community,
Right.
too, is like to get people reading.
Hmm.
And I see the shift going back to like the way, it was a couple of years ago. And as an author now, and as someone that did book talk for years, um, don't be afraid to get in their inboxes, especially if it's like you love them. It doesn't
Yeah.
even matter who it is. Okay, Megan Quinn. Do you know? I'm pretty sure you know
Yes.
who Megan Quinn is.
Yeah.
Okay, 2 years ago, it's summertime. I was in a really dark place, and I was at the time just reading dark romance. I hadn't really ventured out into like rom com,
Mm.
but I was only like reading like dark romance. And I seen a video about her book and them laughing. I was like, I need something to pick me out, get me out of this. I read her book and I read. Now I own all of her books, by the way. Um,
I love that.
and I've
Her
read her
books are
twice.
amazing. Yeah. Her
But
books are
it
fun.
was this book right here, and
Okay.
I I messaged her on Facebook, and I was like, I know you're probably never going to see this, but I just wanted to let you know that your book really brought me out of a dark place. Like I have been very down, very depressed, and your book brought me back to life. And even though I know you're not going to read this, I just needed you to know that.
Yeah. To get it out.
That woman messaged me back. And it
That's
was like this big
amazing.
long thing. And she's like, if you ever need anything, if you ever, she's like, that's one of the best compliments ever. Okay, wonderful, right?
Yeah.
Perfect. I see her at Sweetgrass. I go to Sweetgrass and I hop in her line. And I go up there and I'm like, I know you don't. I was like, you probably don't remember this, but I was the girl that messaged you last year. I was the first. She's like, oh my god, I do remember you. She's like, and like I was crying, she was crying, her assistant was crying, and everybody. So like, get in those authors' inboxes. Do not be as
Yeah.
scared to do that. Okay,
Yeah,
don't, because
I think they're human too. They want to see that they're having a positive impact
whether
on
it's like
anybody.
me and it's their first book or it's their 50th book,
Yeah,
I promise you, we all have days where we're like, why the heck am I doing this?
yeah. And you just give
So
them that
get
reassurance.
Yeah, please, 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 just don't be scared, especially with me. And like, I tell people all the time because I know a lot of people don't have Kindle Unlimited right now. I know money's tight too, and
Yeah, economy.
you need an ebook. Message me.
Yeah,
It's pennies from Book Funnel. I'll send it. I
yeah,
just want people to read it. I'm not trying. This is. I promise you this. Anybody that thinks being going into being an indie author is going to make you rich, I hope it does. Some people I understand, but it's a lot of in the red for a long time.
yeah. And it's a lot of work. No,
It
I
is.
actually love that a lot of the authors that I have been chit-chatting with, they're spreading into like libraries now. Because I've
Yeah.
actually like went and saw a lot of like people that I usually read. They're in the libraries, they're in Hoopla, they're in Libby. I was like, these are perfect places for people to like discover you that can't afford audio or Kindle Unlimited, and your books are still getting out there and they're having a positive influence, and they're just going to keep coming back.
That's Ashley's trying to
That's
make
so
me cry.
nice.
She's like my favorite book of the year so far. Oh, yeah, but
It was a
and
really
that's
fun book
just
though.
so weird to me to hear that. Like it really is. Like when I told people, especially people that are close to me, that I was writing a book, they laughed. Because again, when I text, no,
Mhm.
you have to understand how I text and
Oh,
type.
so they better not be insulting you.
No, 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 no. They just, I mean, I'm country as heck. I use slang. I can't put two sentences together half the time. And they read the book and it's like, I'm not trying, like, I put my heart and soul. I'm nowhere going to say this book is even in the top 1,000 of books out there. I'm not. Some people like Ashley
It
like
was
is
so
her
good.
favorite. I, every time I get somebody like that says like, "Oh my god, I loved it," and I'm like, "You did?"
No, it was actually really, I actually really enjoyed it. I have been in a really bad book slump and I finally got out of it audio wise and I was like, cool, I'm having a good time. And then I started reading an arc that came through and I got triggered because one of the side characters was too similar to me and it kind of just like made me be like, okay, I'm just gonna put this down for a minute because that's a little hitting a little too spot on for me. And I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna go and pick up this book. And I was reading it, and it was fun. I loved how you started it because I was sucked in so fast into your book. I was cackling at some of the just like quick witty remarks of like her inner monologue and her grandma and her relationship. I was like, you know what? I look so forward to how this is going to unfold. And let me tell you what, one of my favorite things was the grandma's like go to like diss line, and everybody like knew it was an insult, but like it was the sweetest thing you could possibly say. I'm
The
like,
bless your heart.
yes, the bless your. And if I was like, if I heard that out in public before reading this book, I'd be like, oh, okay, well, they're just trying to be nice. Now I'm like, are you insulting me?
In South Carolina, if they're like, "Oh, bless your heart," yeah, baby, it's an insult. I hate to tell you that.
I just love because like she was so quick with it too. It's like, oh, you're gonna come and say something to me, Lisa. Let me just turn around and hit you with my signature line and let you just cringe because you know what I mean.
Yeah, and there's so many lines like, "Oh my god, I'm so sorry you're hearing that. That's somebody trying to book a photo session at
Oh,
8:30
that's
at night."
good.
No, no, they're fine. My hours are 9 to 5. um, but that was the thing with like a lot of Flora's um little quips were stuff the real Flora said. Like there's one where she's like, um, only prostitutes and so she said, oh god, I remember it like it was yesterday, but it's
Oh, I know exactly what you're saying. That they
I'm so nervous, can't even think. But she's like, oh,
the
oh,
bikini scene.
yeah, no, 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 no. It was the hold on.
Because it was when she was
Only
at.
lazy, yeah, that's it. Only lazy women. I can't. I had a completely like brain right now. But only lazy women and prostitutes sleep past 8 a.m.
Oh, yes.
That was a Florimore original. Um, the one where cross your legs unless you're looking if you're trying to land a husband for a life and not a night kind of deal. All those are Flora Elizabeth Moore. Like
That's
that's
amazing.
like those were just things. Those are literally things that were said to me, and there's a lot of stuff in there. Now, me and my mama's never been estranged. I
Mhm.
was the only granddaughter out of 10. The
Oh,
rest
yeah.
were boys. I was also the first grandchild, so kind of got like little favoritism with her. Um, but
Rightfully
there's
so.
so much like that her and like Flora did, Katie and Flora did in the book. That was me and my mama. Um, the fine is not a sophisticated answer.
Oh my God, that kills me.
That was actually said to my grandmother. Um, because my grandmother was a lot like me. She was very blunt. She was very
Mm.
speak her mind. And we live in upstate South Carolina in a debutante area.
Oh,
And there's a lot of people who, Southern Baptists do better than you no matter
Yep.
what you do, kind of deal. And somebody was like, Flora, fine's not a sophisticated answer. And my grandmother kind of popped off on her, but I always remembered that line, like, fine's not a sophisticated answer. And so, like, that made it in there. And there's so much. I figured out really quickly with my writing, I don't want a damsel in distress.
Yep.
And yes, I want the book focused. Yes, it's a romance book. I love the love story. But I love the fact that Katie had a different support system.
Yeah.
You know, her whole entire world was not just Jasper.
Yes.
Now, she was Jasper's whole world. I mean, she loved Jasper. I mean, but Katie and Flora's relationship meant just as much as Katie and Jasper's, if that makes sense to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
It
Mhm.
might not to anybody else, but it did to me. Um, like the name, things like that. Like when I started beta, people's like, "Why do you put Katie Marie?" Katie Marie. I'm like, just keep reading, just keep reading. There's a reason.
Yep.
There's a reason. There's a reason. Just keep reading. And a lot of it is like Mama. Like the dedication is, I did. It was my first book. I'm a dedication reader. Like, I
Mhm.
love a good juicy, and I I wrote it as like I had sit there and stared at the computer for 2 hours, and I wrote just exactly how I felt. I said I wanted to write something sexy and cool here, but honestly, this is for you, Mama, the real Flora, who told me if someone tells you you can't, tell them to shut the hell up and do it just to be a bitch. That was my mama's essence. So, like,
And
and
that
I know
those
that
are
woman would have loved
wise
this book.
words though. Like that gives I read that and I highlighted it. I was like, you know what? That is such like inspirational because you get told you can't do a lot of things all the time. And I think that you know what? Do it just to be like, you
That's
know what, I did it and I did it good.
Well, see, and that's what made me my grandmother made me the woman that I am. Like,
Yeah.
okay, I live in South Carolina. I went to school for art when everybody else around here goes for nursing or something like that, And a time when there wasn't Facebook, like I graduated in 2006. I'm old. Y'all don't be doing math. That's rude. Um, But I graduated in 2006. There was MySpace, but there was no marketing yeah, there was no marketing your like business. There was no like
Right.
social
That's word of
media.
mouth. Yep.
Yeah, or like it was hard to start a business. So
Mhm.
people would tell me like, you need to do this, you need to do that, you need to go and you need to get this degree and not this degree. And my mama was like, if you want to do it, do it.
Yeah.
I knew when I was 8 years old I wanted to be a photographer because there was a studio at the end of the road where my grandmother lived. It was called the 700 Studio. And when I was 8 years old, there was a picture of a girl in a beautiful white dress on a swing. And they had like blew it up big because this is the 90s. Again, stop doing math, it's rude. Um, but there was this big picture, and there was a girl, like she was on this like flowery swing, and my mama, she used to like to walk the road because she was nosy.
Oh, I love that.
That's my editor.
Oh,
but
so pretty.
but because she was nosy, like Flora, and like the book Flora, and we walked in when she and I'll just sit there and I just stared and she's like, "Baby, do you want me to get your picture made?" I was like, "No, Mama, I want to take the pictures." And I, that's what. And but you know what? I did the graphic artist gig because it paid the bills. But everybody's like, you know, you can't really be a photographer around here. There's not. I am. I've been in 37 magazines.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So like, same thing with this. Like every time I set to do something that is not what somebody would expect me to do, and maybe even some people would be like, "You can't do it." Her
Mhm.
voice is in my head because
Yeah.
literally there was so many times, so many times. I'm sorry, I'm talking so much.
No,
Um,
we would love to hear it.
there's so many times, and it translates in the book so much. The willpower of just being the woman you want to be, not what everybody else wants you to be. You can still be, and that was the best thing. And I hope, God, I hope. I was so scared that people would hate Flora even after like the relationship
Hmm.
because I hope people seen what I was. You can be a part of any community, any society, and still be yourself.
Hmm.
In fact, being yourself, being who you want to be, and not conforming completely, 9 times out of 10, that puts you in a more I want to be around this person kind of spot, you
Yeah,
know?
be different.
So that's that's why that relationship was so important to me in this book. Um,
No, I
I'm sorry.
actually liked her from the beginning. I think what scene was a turning point for me was the like bikini scene when she comes in. And how she immediately like Kate's demeanor just completely changed when her grandpa walked in and she was like, "Oh, hi, I love you." And then you just see like Flora's like, "Really? Like I'm over here arguing with her and you're egging her on." And
That
I
kind of
was like, I
stuff would
love
happen
that.
because, like, when I say, like, I literally spent all the time in the world with that woman, and there would be days when we would bump heads.
Yeah,
And, like, my Papa Gary would come in and, like, he'd be like, hey, Rat, because he called me Rat. Don't ask why. I don't even know why. Like, he's like, hey, Rat, what you want for supper? And I'll be like, Papa, I want this and this, this. And I already know I've been in trouble with her because I've been here all day and got on her nerves. And
right.
that kind of stuff really happened. Like, I can say, like, some of Katie is me.
Mhm.
Some, I'm going to be honest with you, more of Jasper's personality is more like mine if you can't tell.
Mhm.
But Flora, book Flora is Flora, real Flora.
Okay.
And that's, I know it's weird to say, but that was the character that, you know, that really writing this book. And I just felt like the whole time I was writing it, I was like, I could like hear my mama. Like, I know my mama would have read this. And
Yeah,
y'all
I
know
mean
how
that's a
spicy it is.
beautiful tribute to her because you did her so well. I like I said, I was like enjoying her character. I was like, I don't know, I'm kind of like enjoying her from like the beginning. And there was like that one scene where Kate's like trying to do something and she gets like interrupted, and I was howling. I was like, I knew that that was gonna happen. I knew she was gonna knock on the door and ruin
We
it.
got so much heck for that. Like around here, there's like, I can't believe you put that in a book. And I was like, I can't believe you're going to pretend like you don't do it.
Right? No, I that it's just like those little scenes because they're so realistic. I just had such a blast reading them. And I love how you wrote Katie because she was so easy to follow that I just kept and kept and kept and kept reading. And then when we got introduced to Jasper, I was like, "Oh, we have a little
Oh,
bad boy here."
but he is so. He's turned into like the comic relief in book two. And a lot of Jasper's like little quotes are my husband's though. Just
Really?
things that he says, and like the funny stuff. Like there's one text message where she's like, say she's out shopping with Flora, and she's texting Jasper, and Jasper's like, do I need to come kidnap you? And he's like, and she's like, yeah, bring chains or something. He's like, ooh, kinky. My safe word, SpongeBob. And my husband's actually said that jokingly before. Like, so there's things in there like that, and especially in book two,
Mhm.
because obviously Jasper, and you're not getting like the lovey like love story of Jasper and Katie, so you get to see that funny side of Jasper. Yeah, those are Johnny Mace originals. Um, but they have me rolling too. It's weird. Sometimes I because you read your book. If you write a book, you read it probably about 1,000 times at least
Mhm.
until you're sick of it. And but there's sometimes like I'll pick it up to try, try to like do a marketing or try to pick a quote, and I'll start reading it and I forget like, hey, I wrote this. It's weird.
I have had people say that too because I'll go in and I'll interview them. I was like, I remember this scene and this scene was so memorable, and they'll be like, "Oh my God, I can't believe I wrote that scene." So I'm
Yeah,
glad to see
there's
that it is a continuing trend.
I didn't realize how many times I use certain words. I didn't mean to. And
Now
my
I have
my
to go back and
husband's
keep a tally.
mother my husband's mother came to the book signing. And yeah, that was yeah.
You know what? After this, I'm gonna go and open my Kindle and put it in there and see how many times I get it in the search results. Now I'm curious.
Well, like okay, I'm just telling all my little secrets. Thanks, Christina.
You're
um, I call my husband Dickhead. That's my like loving name for him. That's his name in my phone. Um,
that's amazing.
so like, and that's what Katie calls Jasper, even as
Yep.
like Dickhead. And I get that it's because somebody, now I did have readers like, that seems a little passive aggressive, a little bit of, abusive of Katie to keep on calling him that. I'm like, I have to disagree. She's saying it with love. Like,
Yeah.
and I think I ended up putting, I went back and I forgot what chapter it is, but I did go back and I put a thing where she was like, fine, I'll stop calling you that. And Jasper's like, don't you ever stop calling me that. You don't love me. And, because there's just things like that. I wanted Jasper, like, of course, when I sat down to write this book, Jasper, it was going to be enemies to lovers. I mean, the book's called Picture of Anger. you
Right.
know it was going to be enemies to lovers and rivals, and he was going to be broody and the bad, and he is a bad boy, he is, but
Hmm.
he was going to be like the bad boy, like next door. I sit down, that cinnamon roll came out, I was like, what the hell? Why you gotta be so sweet? Like, why you gotta be so loving? And then I look over and I look at my husband and I'm like, I get it. My husband's a
Yeah.
cinnamon roll. So,
There you go.
yeah, Jasper wasn't who I wanted Jasper. And then I thought Thad was going to be the cinnamon roll, and he's not. They do what they want. They really do. Like, it's so weird. And I know it sounds crazy, but they write their own stories.
Yeah.
Like, if they want to talk, they talk.
No, I loved how you did the characters and then their character development and the way that their relationships developed through the book. While it was an easy read and a quick read because I just dove in. There was never gaps where I was just like, how did they get from like A to B? Like it flowed very well.
I have to say that's because of S.M. Ivins. That woman will rip my ass a new one.
Oh,
Like she will. Like I love. Excuse my language, but I love her so much. And she'll like. I told her when she first started. She started editing in Sweetly, and she's like, "Can I be honest?" I was like, "If you're anything but honest," I said, "Be blunt." I said, "Rip me a new one," because I'd rather somebody tell me before I get embarrassed. I don't handle
no,
being
yeah.
embarrassed well.
Hmm.
Um, so I didn't want to put out anything. Like I had this book proof before I sent it to betas, then reproof. Like I was so scared somebody was gonna be like, "Yeah, you can tell she wasn't supposed to write a book." I was so scared of that.
Yeah.
Like I got in my head so bad. But I can say Savannah will call me out on something in a heartbeat, and I'm so grateful for that woman. I don't know what I did to deserve her, but she will.
I love that because I had to learn that in my own process in my like book talk reading journey, because starting book talk and then I got entwined with authors and beta teams and alpha teams and arc reading. And when I first started out, I was like, okay, I'm just looking for like spelling errors that were missed or spacing errors that were missed. And I had an author, they're like, no, like I need to know if this works for you, if this is intriguing. And she would ask for feedback, and I'm like, yeah, I liked it. She was like, okay, well, how would you love it? And I was like, how honest should I be? Because I also don't want to be like, I like this type, and I'm going to persuade you to change it. She was like, no, I just need that bouncing of ideas. It's like, oh,
I
so it's been a learning
I've done
process for me too.
I've done beta reading myself.
Mhm.
I used to have a podcast like where I did helped indie authors, like I would promote them for a week and stuff.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
so like excuse me. So I kind of knew what kind of process, but I was like you when I first started, like,
Yeah.
oh, like, you know,
You don't want to hurt feelings. Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, authors, if you ever get put on a beta team, now you don't have to be a jerk. You don't have to be like,
Yeah.
this is the
No.
worst thing you could ever, but to be honest, be like, I did not understand this, or this is like worded so weirdly. I'm trying to find one of Savannah's, like, she had, there was one, there was one scene, and I think it was the first spicy scene I'd ever wrote. I'm pretty sure. And I thought that I had done so good on it. But like when you're writing spicy, it's different than reading spicy. You don't realize how much detail you have to put in a
Yeah.
spicy romance, like in a spicy scene, until you write it. And I thought I did great, and she was like, "Well, that dried me up." Like at the cigarette. I thought, yes, but it makes me a better. But she knows, like, I want that feedback because I'd rather, yeah.
It dried me up. It's just the best compliment.
Oh, she'll
It's
tell me quick.
diabolical.
There's one in Back to Reality, and I've already had like two beta readers finish it, and she was reading back through it today, and she said, "Whoa, whoa, whoa! It's in there. It's in here. I'm trying to find." She's like, "Where did the damn bed come from?" It, like, so I mean,
Oh,
again,
that's
I don't know what I did
amazing.
to deserve that woman because there ain't no telling without her.
I think we're gonna be best friends with her too.
She now,
That's diabolical.
if you like psychological thrillers, she absolute hands down wrote the best, and this is how me and her become friends. Is because she wrote the best psychological thriller I had ever read in my whole entire life. Like I did not
Ooh.
see that ending coming at
What is the
all.
title? Now I'm curious.
It is right,
Can't drop that goodie, and then I can't. Now I need to know it.
right here. It's called Wide Open by S.M. Ivins, and it's just a novella. This beautiful woman right
Really?
here. Yeah, and you. I read it the first time in an hour and a half. Because that one you won't.
Wow.
And
I just edited.
I read when her book had just come out, and I'd read it, and I'd asked her, I'd heard about it from somebody, and I was like, "Hey, can I get art? Or you still got arts?" She's like, "Yeah." She sent it to me, and I read it in an hour and a half. And I told her, I was like, "This is the best psychological thriller I ever wrote, or I mean, I ever read." And we become friends like that, and we would just talk, you know, and just random stuff. I'd be like, "Hey, what are you working on?" And then when I did this, I told her, I was like, "Hey, I'm kind of writing a book," and she's like, "Oh, well, I'll take a look at it." And she just become my editor. She's like, "This is a good story, but we're going to make it great." It's
And I
good.
love those relationships though, because I have recently developed one similar where I now am very just. Thank you. I have recently like reached that level of comfort with somebody, and to the point where I'm like, okay, like I'm gonna be completely honest, like that this could be better, this could be better, but I loved this. And I do feel like it strengthens relationships because you're like, you know what, you're being honest, you're trying to make this as best as possible, and it's mutual
If
respect for your
you
work.
or anybody out there, because I do open beta reads, open for beta readers. Because I'm gonna be honest, you will get 10 people saying they want a beta read, and then only 3 people will show up and do it.
Yeah.
That's just, and it's not, and I'm not saying anything bad because life be lifing.
No, yeah.
You know what? You never know because in January I lost my grandmother. And then we had another like big thing happen that I lost my stepsister. She passed away, and it's like so life be like. So, but if anytime I open and you fill out for beta and you want and I select you for my beta team, be honest because if you're our safety net, art
Yeah.
readers, same thing. Be honest. You're our safety nets. Like it's different when somebody takes time to beta or art read your book. That means they've invested in you. Okay?
Yeah.
That means that they have nobody's recommendations. They've not really, they're invested in your work. And it's an honor to have an art reader. Just like I know that it's an honor to get art. So, I mean, I've been an art reader myself. I mean, I've got an ALLC right now that listening to. Um, but it's an honor for you to read my book too.
Yeah.
And y'all are our safety nets. We'd rather y'all be honest with us because if somebody was to pay for the book
Yeah.
and not like it, that hurts all because honey, I mean, it hurts a whole lot more.
Hmm.
And I just and when you're writing too, like with trigger warnings and things like that, you might not see, and it could be just like because of your surroundings. I obviously grew up in the South. This is a Southern book,
Yeah.
but there's certain things that I have to be careful of, that like people might not get.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
you know how some people call people soda soda, some people call it pop.
Yeah.
Well, not everybody calls it pop. There's a there was another line. There was a word that I used that every single beta reader did not know. It was what? It was just a little thing we say around here. I forgot which word it was. It was just like an old saying. I mean, it was, gosh, what was it? It was something. It was just like an idiom, like just something like, well, the cat's in the cradle. Obviously everybody knows that one, but it was
Yeah.
one that we say around here that I thought everybody knew. There's like food and stuff too that people don't know.
Mhm.
Some people don't know what grits are.
Yeah.
So when I wrote a breakfast scene and I'm saying like they're eating grits and people's like, well, what's a grit?
Yeah.
So things like that, you need beta readers for.
And
Because
I think that's wonderful too. Yeah.
I just, plus, I know it's okay to have something in a book and, a reader might have to look it up to understand what it is, like, certain techniques on like, um, anxiety and things like that. But
Right.
I don't want nothing to pull my readers out of the story.
No. Yeah.
I don't want them to have to stop and be like, grits? What is grits? What Google? What is
Right.
grits? I
Yeah.
just took it out, and now they're just having scrambled eggs.
No, I think that being throughout that journey has definitely changed my
Message.
perspective when, oh, the beta reading. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're gonna get all of us from book club because we have been invested. But I have definitely learned like the further I go into my journey with reading, I do see because I'll read a book and then I'll go and arc it and I'll write my own review. And there was one time I messaged an author and I was like, I really saw it going this way. Like I thought that it was going to go this way. And you went this way. And she was like, man, I really missed an opportunity not going this way. And I was like, oh, well, that just kind of like popped in my head. That's what I thought was going to happen. And I've had that now happen a couple times. They're like, you know what? Like, let's chit chat more. Let's be on my alpha team. Let's be on my beta team. Like, give me that feedback. Let me bounce ideas off of you.
Because
And I'm like, maybe that's helpful.
you don't really want somebody to be a yes man when they're
Right.
beta reading a book because you think something's good and then something get my biggest fear because if you can't tell, I'm from the South, everybody.
I
This
had no idea.
twang, don't give that away at all. My biggest fear is me being ignorant to something that, could potentially hurt somebody else in any way. Not even, you know, so like I don't I want you to be honest. Like if you don't like, hey, back to reality, this is another one. I had the main female character, she called another woman because she was jealous because called her a slut.
Hmm.
And I didn't realize I had done it twice.
Oh, okay.
And Savannah picked up on it. Like, because, to me, like if somebody's trying to get with my man in front of me, I'm going to call them that. And she's like,
Yeah.
no, this is it. Once is, yeah, jealousy. Two is slut shaming. Like,
Yeah.
it's gross. And that's exactly how Savannah said it. And I had to, but it gave me a step back to be like, you know what? That's not a girl's girl. You're right.
Yeah.
So I could change it. And that's the things that people, we won't. We're not going to be mad. Now I do know there's bad apples in a bunch.
Hmm.
I'm sure you've worked with some. I know I've worked with some where they tell you to beta read or art read, but their book's perfect and you can't tell them nothing about it.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm nowhere near that. I'm still shocked that I have 5-star reviews.
No, your books are me. Like I said, I had such a good time. And being in a slump, I hadn't read in 2 weeks. And that's very unlike me. Like I plow through books like 4 or 5 a week. So me not like opening my Kindle, it's just like I couldn't turn my brain off because of life.
Yeah,
And you allowed me to have that escape and be like
and
sucked
see, I
back
know
in
some
finally.
people. I know that some people are like, "Oh, I don't want to be considered a palate cleanser." Please consider me a palate cleanser book. I don't care what you call my book as long as you read it, you like it.
You know,
I really
sometimes those
don't.
palate
If
cleansers
you
you don't stop thinking about though.
Exactly. I don't care if you call it this and Savannah writes really dark psychological thrillers.
Mm.
Her Savannah's trigger lists are like usually 2 or 3 pages long. I think I have 2 triggers in the whole book of anger, a picture of anger. But hers is like 2 or 3 pages long, and I'm still sitting there like, you probably could have added this, Savannah. and but it's like she said, "Oh my god, this is just like a cozy, sweet treat." And I'm sitting there like, "This book is so emotional." And she's like, "No, it's just the sweetest little cutie pie everything." And you know what? That's fine. If you think it's the sweetest cutie pie everything, but you like it, I don't care. Call it what you want.
Yeah, I never think of palate cleansers as insults anymore because I have had so many books that I have used to get me out of slumps or like be that like switch that I think about to this day. And those are like now my auto buy authors because I'm like I know whatever mood I'm in, you're gonna please me. Right? Like I'm in a crappy mood and can't read anything, you please me. I am in a mood for something fun, you please me. Like sometimes those are just auto buy authors and I'm just in love with them. So when I read yours and I was like, I looked back up and I'm like, oh, it's been 2 hours. I'm 200 pages deep. Also, my kids are super quiet. This is kind of nice. A good cheesecake
Hey,
menu
what do we got? We are talking about my book, Picture of
or
Anger. I
incredibly talented
also
book.
just had come out with hardbacks, and these are
I love that
hardbacks. They
too.
are different. Um, I know there's a thing going on right now that people are like, well, if I see an author's name under the um, illustrator of the cover, I kind of know it's they. I went to school to do this. I went to school for a very long time and worked for a very high up woman who was very strict on our art for a long time for 10 years to learn how to do all this. These are my covers. I drew them from scratch.
I love that is so talented. You have so many just like talents that you're just like,
I
yeah, I
don't.
also for I also photographer.
Is it
Also, I'm just like
talent
an
or is it
amazing.
ADHD? Let's
I
be real here. Is it talent or is it ADHD? I get bored with something and I move on. Like,
See, but I do that because I have ADHD too, and mine are never good. I just like I pick up something and then I fail at it, but I'm like, oh, this was fun.
see, oh God, I gotta show y'all something. She's never gonna have me back on here.
No, we want you permanently.
So I started like I have book conventions coming up, and I didn't know what to offer people. Like as I've been to book conventions, been to quite a lot. You have your bookmarks, and you have your like. I think
Right.
I still have my bag from lit last year. I haven't even opened this, and I was like, you have your arts and your postcards. And I was like, well, I want to do something like different. So I started making like these ribbon bookmarks, just to put on my table.
Oh,
They're cute. And I've hyper fixated on that. I've made all kinds just sitting here. And then I look up and my husband's like, "You've done spent $300 on beads. What are you doing?" I was like, "I'm making stuff." He's like, "I thought you were writing a book." Yeah.
I'm taking a break. No, my husband does the same thing because I was bored and I fell into like the scroll of doom on sourdough TikTok. And then I drove like 10 miles to go buy sourdough starter from someone in my neighborhood because I went that far. Now I have like four full bursting at the seams containers on my counter that I feed every night and they explode every night and I need to make something with and then I'll just forget about it. Just go do something. I'll play The Sims for like 5 hours.
My husband hates it when I see this. I will get into something and then like it just be a rain on Tuesday. I'm like, I'm not doing it no more. And that look okay. So photography and writing is not like that. Like I've not. I think with photography because it's always changing. It's always different clients and stuff. It's always a
Right.
different set. It keeps you like intrigued. And the same thing with writing. It's always a different story, you know. But like that, I have all this stuff back here and I haven't touched it in 2 weeks. Just sitting back
Mhm.
there. And I told him, I
Yep.
was like, I'm going to make all of this and I'm going to have the coolest bookmarks. And I went to Hobby Lobby and I went to Michael's and I went to all these places and bought all these beads and all these charms and all this stuff. And it's sat back there for 2 weeks now because I'm like, yeah, that was fun.
I do the same exact thing. I'll pick up a new hobby. I'm like, this looks so fun. I should totally do this. And then, or I start a
And
video game, and
honestly,
then it's like 2 days
from
later, I'm
being
like,
honest with
not
myself,
really
that's
into it.
probably why my books are so fast paced because
Never lose
I
interest.
can't do a slow burn. I try. I try to do a slow burn. I can't. Like, I love angst. Oh, give me a book with angst. Oh, I want it dripping angst. Like, I mean, I got angst in there. I
Yeah.
do, but Jasper couldn't wait. There's so many times, like, there's so many times writing this book because this book's spicy, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's got a great plot. I will say that. I'm not saying great, like, oh, well, great, ugh. But it does have a plot. Jasper would be jumping in. I would tell her. I would call her, and it would be a chapter done, and I would be like, "Can you go back and read chapter 25? Why? We're finished with that." Jasper got horny,
Can I pin this comment? That was the greatest.
but he
Oh, that
did.
was
Like,
amazing.
there's one where they're on the dock, and he's like, spent all this time. He's gonna profess his love for her and tell her the secret and everything else, and he's spent all this time lighting, and it was supposed to be this like very sweet and dance in the rain, and then they go to the car and they fuck, and that was not there originally. Like, hey, Leah, we're talking about picture banger. It
Oh,
wasn't there. Like the book was, I think the book was done, and we were going back, just going through, and I was rereading it. And Savannah left me alone one night, and she knew better than do that shit. Um, and I was reading it, and I was like, I can add a little bit more to here, and I started adding, and then clothes fell off, and he's just horny all the time. Like the last chapter of the book before the epilogue, they do it, and I'm like, that was not in the original first draft. And then, like, I'm literally about ready, like, done with this book, about ready to write the end. And Jasper's like, can I get it one more time?
just well,
Yeah.
yes. No, I am tired. That's amazing. I love when
It's so weird. It's so weird to me. Like, I would just want to, like, hide when somebody says that, though. Like, are we talking about, my favorite book? I really want to hide. Like, I just don't feel worthy.
no, like I said, it was such a fun read, and I could just immerse myself into reading it. I honestly wanted to just, after I finished it, I was like, I saw your video actually came up on my feed. Like the moment I was like finishing it up, I went to go brush my teeth and I was like scrolling, and your video came up and it was like signing up for our article. I was like, oh, it is like my FBI agent knew that I was gonna be.
Well, Back to Reality is not like the second book in it. It's like I said, it's my Back to Reality is my little rom com, like, because Bargain, whew, Bargain's rough for me to write. It's not rough because like it's hard or writer's block. It's just my poor
Emotionally.
babies, my poor babies, both of them. And
How do you go in between writing the like rom-com to that deeper, more traumatic book? How
um,
is your process?
honestly, okay. So Thad and Jess's book, I know everything about it. Like I said,
Hmm.
I know the hit points that I want to hit. I guess is the best way to put it. But those hit points are even triggering for me because there's stuff that happens with Jess that I don't see a lot of people write about with survivors of domestic violence and
Mm.
abusive relationships,
Right.
because you always see like the whole don't touch me, I don't want to be touched, I want
Right.
to, cover everything up side. There's also another side to
Yeah.
victims. And there's, you either go one way or you hyper because you
Yep.
need that validation.
Yep.
And my first marriage was very much like that. It
Okay.
was very abusive. Like I said, the prologue to Bargain is a straight memory, straight from memory, and it is the hardest thing I've ever wrote. I cry to this day reading it because I was back there, and and I'm gonna warn people now. The prologue is on paper grape,
Okay.
so you don't really have to read the prologue, and
Mm.
I did that for a reason. The prologue is just what you get. You if you don't read the prologue, you're not gonna not you're gonna already you kind of already know from Picture of Anger how Chris is.
Right.
But if that's something you can't read, it's not going to be like, oh, I've missed the big plot point.
Right.
Um, that's why I put it as a prologue. Um, but that was very hard. And I was about 15 chapters in, and I couldn't go further. Like I had to stop. Like it was putting me in a place that I had worked years to get out of,
Mm.
because my husband is absolute the best thing, best man. Like, they don't make him like him. You can't convince me he's better, and that's in the front. Yeah, that's in the front of the acknowledgments in this book is, and I say it. He's better than any book boyfriend I could ever write. Like, Johnny Mace is. That was my saving grace. That
Right.
man is everything to me. But it took me a long time, and it took us a long time him working with my trauma. So
Right.
I was like, I was getting back in that triggering thing, doing things
Mm.
like you don't think about, like asking my husband, like, hey, can I go buy a book? And my
Right.
husband's one of those, why are you asking me? You know what we got in the bank, go do it kind of people.
Right.
And it aggravates him because he's worked. So I was getting back in that, and so I was like, I stopped. And when you're in that, you can't read either. Like, when
Right.
you're that deep into writing a book, or in that immersed in, you can't read. Like, you just can't. Like, nothing is going to click with you. So I started watching reruns of Jersey Shore, and I was talking to my best friend on the phone, and I was like, you know what? Snooki and Vinny should have been together. And she's like, yeah, I know. It just sucks. I was like, I'm going to write it. I was like, I'm going to write the book. She's like, you're not going to write a Jersey Shore book. I was like, I'm going to write a Jersey Shore book. I told Savannah, and Savannah laughed at me. She's like, "What? Jersey Shore? Really? That's the book you want to write?" But I did. I love it.
Storage. I'm intrigued for this book. I am gonna go have to sign up because I know I saved that video and I'm like, you know what? I'm kind of intrigued. But I have been that type of person that will blindly sign up for things at like 3 a.m. because you're scrolling and you can't go to sleep. And then I have like 45 arcs hit my Kindle at the same time. I'm like, this is fun. I know
Liv
I'm
was the
going to.
first like beta or out whatever reader, because Liv. So Katie and Jasper are like younger, and
Hmm.
I have a 20-year-old, and and Liv's like one of my, like, she's like my baby, like she's one of my, like, my baby book friends or whatever, and Taylor Swift and stuff. I was like, hey, can you read this and tell me, like, does it come off as like the mom from Mean Girls,
I'm a cool mom.
I'm a cool mom, or does it come off like, so I had her read it first, and she's like, oh my god, I love this book. And so when I it kind of, yeah, I'm just a baby. So like I started like that kind of gave me confidence to publish like as Savannah can tell you, I went back and forth. I was not going to let this book out.
No, I am intrigued because I remember watching that and being like, they should have been together. I don't know why they're not together. So now you said that and I'm like, yep, you sold me. I'm
You
gonna go
are.
do it right now.
You so are my cheerleader, Liv. Like if
I
I'm
love it.
having a bad
Everybody's so
day,
fun.
like I've told to Liv, like not just about books. Like Liv is just like she's like my little sister now.
Oh, I love that. You know, and I think that's so unique because when I started this whole like book talk thing, I'm a stay-at-home mom. I started reading, right? And no one around me really reads what I read. And I always felt like, okay, well, I kind of like have to fake what I'm reading so like they don't know what I'm reading because we don't have the same taste. And I felt like on here, everybody's like, oh, you read a book? What do you read? Oh, that's fine. I read this, but let's talk about it. Let's go get coffee together. Let's go read together. And we have a book club of people that have vast, genres that they love, vast tropes that they love, but we all just
This
like
is
to hang out.
not. It's not just about what you're reading. It's reading
Yeah.
something together, and it don't
Yes.
have to be the same book. It's just you know, some people don't want to read smut.
Yeah, and
You
that's
know,
perfectly
some people
fine.
don't, and there's nothing wrong with that. Like, you don't have to read some. I was told by quite a few people, it's like, I don't really read this much spice. I wasn't expecting that, you know? And so I've started marketing and letting people know this book is spicy. It's
Yeah.
cute. It's cute. It's adorable. It's, Gilmore Girl vibes and stuff like that. Honey, Jasper was horny. Sorry. Uh, like, I didn't mean for it to be that way. It's just how I did. Um, but I don't forgot what I was going with. Oh, it's like having somebody to talk to about books, having something, especially when you become a mom, a wife, or like even career. You immerse yourself fully into this person for these people,
Hmm.
and it's something that you have that's just yours. Like you can
Yeah.
be open and honest because they're going through the same thing. 90% of the time, they're going through the same thing. Your book friends, they have kids, they have jobs, they have
Yeah.
businesses, or, sick parents, things going on in their life that this is their escape. This is their
Yeah.
lifeline.
And I
And
love
it
that
is,
because a lot of people don't have that. I find it super hard to make, friends, especially as an adult. You're a stay-at-home mom half the time. Like, I can't respond because I have like multiple kids losing their mind at the same time. And I need someone that's like, oh, that's fine. But hey, while you're free, want to go do this? Yes. Like you need that
well,
person that understands and still like wants to hang out with you.
that's the thing. But see, that's like with Savannah. I'm sorry, SM Ivins. Um, and Cassie, like I'll video call or I'll call them on the phone and be like, "Hey, let's have coffee and just talk."
Yeah.
Because you can talk about books all day long. You'd be like, "Oh, what are you reading?" "Oh, I'm reading this." Like Savannah loves like books that it's not my jam. Like
Mhm.
she likes some stuff that I'm like, "Oh, I don't think I want to read that." But then again, she's never going to pick up half the books that's on my shelf either. There ain't nothing
Right.
wrong with that. You can still be friends.
Yeah.
And it's just having somebody that you can, because even like when you're talking to like your friends in town and you're talking about your real life crap that goes on every single day, it still does something to you. But when you're talking about something like fiction books, it's relaxing.
Yeah, no, it's like you find your escape, and I also agree with you. Like it's kind of like you find your identity again, because I don't think that's talked enough. When you have children, you are thrust into that parent role, and you are struggling to survive with the newborn nights, with like kids getting sick 24/7. Then you have toddlers and preteens and
It,
teens,
it
and
don't
it doesn't stop.
it don't get better. I have a 20-year-old. It don't get better. Like it's my kids are my world. Like I will do, and I have done, and I do too much because they're all spoiled, and I have to only blame myself. But you you become, instead of becoming Christina or
Right,
Marissa or Liv or Cassie, you become
mom.
Abby's mama. Hannah's
Yep.
mama, Johnny Michael's mama.
Yep.
You know, you're no longer, you feel like you are, Johnny's wife. I mean,
Yep.
how many times you go to Walmart, 9 times out of 10, they're like, oh, you're Johnny's wife, or
Hmm.
you're so and so's wife, or you're so and so's mom.
Someone's mom.
You know,
Yep.
and people don't realize what that does to you. Like, when you have that done for years and years and years, you become like, Liv, I'm not even with you and Adam. Um, but you do. You're like, wait a minute, I'm not Marissa anymore. You
Yeah,
know?
you're like, I used to be this person. I used to be just Christina, and now I'm, so and so's mom, so and so's wife. It's like you lose that part of yourself that you had, and you get into a new role, and it's not bad.
Exactly, sunshine. Exactly.
Yep.
You wake up one day and you realize, wait a minute.
Yep. They no
And
longer.
don't get me
Yep.
wrong. Don't get me wrong. My
I
kids
love
are
it.
the best.
Yeah, you love it.
I love it, but books is what books is what give me back my personality. What give me back, because you get. I I think I'm pretty sure I'm not the only mama that will sit here and say, how many mamas can't tell you the last full movie they watched, but they can tell you
Yep.
every episode of Bluey. How many mamas can
Yep.
tell you every episode of PJ Masks or
Yep.
Miss Rachel, or knows all Miss Rachel songs and stuff? You know, you wake up one day and you're like, who am I? I'm not Marissa.
Mhm.
I'm mom. You know, it's a
I
good
just had
feeling,
that
but
happen.
and that's why like books is what did that for me.
Hmm.
Also, and I'm so sorry. I know I'm taking too long. Um,
No.
but also, if you're a reader or if you're a writer, don't think you have to put yourself in a category, a box. You can read Haunting Adeline one day and read um Till Summer Do Us Part the next. There is no right way, wrong way to be a reader.
No, and I think that's what's so fun about like the little group that we've created because I will go from reading just like the filthiest zero plot book to reading Jane Austen the next day because I'm in the mood for it and no
There's
one's
nothing
judging.
wrong
They're
with a
like,
self
hey,
help book. Like, if you,
yeah, no.
I'm going to say this for Marissa, this ain't for, but if you read a good self help book, especially when it comes to like being a mom and stuff like that, that can actually help me in my day to day life, please recommend it to me. We don't
Yeah.
get enough of those recommendations. We don't get enough of those. Hey, you know what? This book was 3 hours long on Audible, but this helped me do this. This helped me see a different perspective on something. I love a good self help book. As long as
They're
it's quick. Don't give me something that's 115 chapters, because you lost me. But if it's quick, I'll read it.
yeah.
And you don't have to be in a category. You don't have to justify what you read. You don't.
Yep.
If you want to be a mood, you don't have to say, "Oh, well, yeah, I'm kind of a mood reader." No, you're not, baby. You're a reader.
Okay, I
There's
mean,
nothing wrong with that. If you want to read, I'm telling you right now, if you want to read The Ritual today and read Cat in a Hat tomorrow, read Cat in a
do
Hat.
it. Yep.
Do it. It's fine.
You know what?
It's
I just need
fine.
Marissa to write a rock star romance and then I'll be fine.
That would be that's coming. That's
Oh,
coming.
see, you guys will get me to read a rockstar romance.
I
I love
actually
the words.
The Words is my favorite book of all time. Like
It's
all
so
time.
good.
I I have a shrine to The Words. See, there is my. I almost wore like
It
I
was
have
amazing.
a sharp objects like backstage pass and stuff I got in the PR box.
Oh, I love
Like,
that. That's like my shrine for the Devil's Night series. I see it.
yeah,
I get
like
it.
I have a shrine to The Words, and yeah, I was like, so I honestly thought Picture of Anger would have been darker, no, nope, nope. It's ooey gooey, it's ooey gooey and lovey dovey.
Do you
Good.
think that you will write a dark romance? Or is this kind of like the genre you more are most comfortable writing?
Savannah, should I sell them? The Words was a no for me. Yeah, that was the like credit I wasted making her read that.
Oh
He didn't
no.
like it. And that's fine. Okay, but see, this is a perfect example. I love this woman with my whole entire heart. She hated that book. It didn't
Yep.
stop us from being friends. Like, I actually have, I am in the middle of writing a reverse bully stepbrother romance. It's taboo and it's dark.
I need it so quickly.
It's
Thank
not
you.
coming out till next year, but I want it's a duet, so I want them both written, sorry, before I put the first book out, because that obviously you were supposed to shut up. I asked you and you didn't answer. You know I can't stop talking.
Bully romance is just the genre I will bathe in daily.
This is reverse bully, so
Oh my,
she's the bully.
I love that even more. I'm just gonna slide into your DM daily until I get it. I'll be like, hi, is it done yet? Hi, are you close now?
I know that one I gotta get bargain out before I get back to it. Like,
Yes, we will be your beta
but
team,
too, yeah.
your alpha team, your arc team, your worship
Oh,
team,
please
whichever one
do.
you need.
Please do. Like, I would love to have Alpha more. I've only got 24 people beside like my permanent street team signed
Mhm.
up for what team am I? You're just my little sister. You get whatever you want. Um but besides my street team and my permanent art team, I've only got 24 signed up for Back to Reality. But it's like I've not I know I gotta wait my turn, you know? Like, a lot of people don't know that Nevessa Allen's been writing books for years, you know? People think Lights Out was her first book. I
Nope,
know I gotta wait
she's
my
back
turn. I
out.
know it's not, you know, I know it's okay. I can wait my turn. I know nobody knows who I am, and that's okay. It'll
We
get
love who
there.
you are.
It'll get there.
And we will support you and hype you up because, yes, we will be dropping into your DMs because I need it. You can't drop that line and then expect me not to be like, hi, I'm in your window watching you write this.
Marissa, here will be the most. I don't want to be the most famous writer on the planet.
She just wants to get paid like it.
No, it's not even that. I want people to like me. That's
Well,
it.
we
I
like
just want
you.
I just want to be petted and told I'm a good girl. No, I'm just playing.
Same.
No, like I don't really I don't know how to explain it. Like, sure, I would like to make, be known, but I'm not worried about, being the next Danielle Steele, or and I'm not gonna say no names like recent, because I don't want to ever think anybody's opinion, but is what am I trying to say? But like, I'm okay not being the next Nicholas Sparks. I'm
Right.
okay. Is my book, looking at it now, is my book very like picture of anger, Nicholas Sparksy with spice? Somebody actually said that, and I was like, you know what? I'm cool with that. I'm cool with that. I'm
His
never
books
gonna be
were
like,
excellent.
this is the greatest like book ever written. I never, even if it, I don't care if I got on the New York Best Times. You will not hear me say that. I was so scared when I wrote Back to Reality. I didn't realize people were gonna like it. I didn't.
You're doing it
And
for
then
you, and then we're having a good time reading it. So, win-win.
win win. Win win.
I absolutely love your journey, and I look forward to seeing your next books. I'm definitely going to be stalking you for that reverse bully romance. I'm obsessed, and like I said, I thoroughly enjoyed your book, and I am so glad that we met through here. And you're like, hey, because you opened our world to your books, and we gobbled it up and enjoyed it so much. And then we also gained a new buddy to chat books with. So I just love that we were able to connect on here and
Anytime.
enjoy our time
Anytime y'all
together.
have a question. Especially like I don't know if someone's thinking in your book club like, you know what, I have a story I would like to write it. Write it. Just write it. Trust me, if I can do it, you can do it.
And I think that's so fun to hear because not a lot of us have that courage and that, drive where we think we can do it. So hearing someone we like that we respect and we love their books and be like, hey, just do it. It's gonna inspire somebody
Because
to do
I
it.
promise there's ways to, and and definitely not AI, but there are people that you don't know that's in your corner that will step up when you're doing something. So, and writing a book is vulnerable. It
Yeah.
is. When you're doing something so vulnerable, you find out who your friends are, and some people will even surprise you, like how much they're in your corner. Like Savannah, like how much is she's like, I'll help. Um, but there's ways to clean. Like I said, I if I text you something and it's more than 2 sentences long, you're not gonna find a comma, a period, a question mark, nowhere. I have to invest in a proofreader.
Yeah.
I have to. There's ways, like, just write your story because at the end of the day, it's about the story.
Hmm.
You have the thoracist to make a word better. You have editors and line developers that will be there for you to be like, hey, you know what? This you could say this better, or this is repeating.
Hmm.
There's ways to polish it
Yeah.
with humans. I want to be very clear on that. With humans, there is ways to polish anything you write. So
Hmm.
when I literally say, if I can do it, you can do it, I've got receipts. I will bring that man in here right now and tell you. My Marissa be like, I'm fixing to. I do. Like, writing back to reality, I can tell you how many times she's like, Marissa, your Southern's coming through and this book takes place in New Jersey. They're not going to tell somebody to get on out of here. But my husband, honey, my grammar is so bad that my husband had me blocked on Facebook for a long time. Cause he's like, you don't check beside behind yourself. Your posts are just typos after typos. And so like it literally if I'm saying like if I can do it, I promise you you can do it.
I love that you fought you.
He didn't block. He just had all my posts hidden so it wouldn't come up on his feed.
I
And
love
it
that.
helped our marriage because there were so many mornings I had to wake up and he go to your Facebook and read what you wrote. And I'll be like, I know what I put. He's like, go read it. You did not. What is this? Oh, that must have been autocorrect. He's autocorrect. He's like, you never double check or proofread anything. So if I can do it, you can do it. I promise. Okay? Now, please don't. I'm not saying that writing is easy. I'm not. I'm just
No.
saying if you have the willpower and the
Yeah.
dedication, if I can do it, you can do it. That's what I'm saying. I know it's not easy. It's hard.
No,
Back
but
up
I
off
love
my
that.
man. Catch these hands. Who are y'all talking about?
Sad.
I told her one time I was going to cut him off.
Oh yes, I think we are collectively as a book club outlining a book together that we did on the live.
Marissa is behind. I am not behind. I'm 15 chapters in. I'm starting next Monday. I've got it on my calendar to start writing back into bargain.
I love that. I want to thank you so much for chit chatting with us. We had such a great
I'm so
time,
sorry it went
and
over.
no, like I said, we love to just chat with you and find out the person behind the art that we love. So you chit chatting with us like we're best friends was the highlight of our evening because it was just a fun experience. And getting to know you was just even better, makes us love your books even more because now we know who is behind them. And I wanted to say before we leave, if you're okay if I invite the rest of book club in here, we usually like to grab a picture all together before we depart. And let's see if they have any
Awesome.
questions.
Yes, I actually put makeup on for this. So, yeah, please. I actually
Yay!
like sprayed my purple in my hair. I was trying to look decent.
Oh, you look phenomenal. Yay! They're coming on. But I am actually really excited to sign up. I actually have your page open on my page so that I can um so that I can come in here and sign up because here's the ARC sign up so I can
I
do
think I signed up on
Did I do the coal
Sunday.
year, the coal Eubates, and do the whole? No, I'm just playing.
it.
I love coal.
I know I'm
I
over
think I
here
signed
signing
up
up
on
for it.
Sunday. Yeah, I think I signed up on Sunday or Monday. When I went down the rabbit hole, I was like, "Ooh, she's got an arc." Da-na-na-na. Oh, she's looking for beta readers. Da-na-na-na. I mean, I was signing up for all kinds of stuff. I'm in. I'm in. You have no idea. I'm in. Like
Did you get a chance to read Pitcher?
you have been so hilarious. And the fact that you are so southern like I am, and I was like, "Oh, yes. Please, yes." And the fact that you took grits out of a book cuz somebody didn't know what it was kind of makes me mad. Now I'm offended because I'm southern and I know what grits are. I want grits in the next book.
I can do that. I
Maybe
will
to
do that.
try it for
Okay.
the first time. I'm
I
from
well,
Pennsylvania. We have grits.
Right?
you. What part of the South are you from?
So I was born in North Carolina. Uh,
Okay,
I'm an army baby. I was born at Fort Bragg.
so I started writing this book, like I said, last June, and there is, if y'all have had a chance to read it, there is a scene that takes place in Lake Lure, North Carolina.
Oh,
Obviously, because Lake Lure is 45 minutes away from me. That is my stomping grounds. That was my that was my whole me, like I was talking about my grandmother. Me and her would just randomly go wake up one day and be like, "You want to go to Lake Lure and Chimney Rock? Let's go." And so when Lane came through Lake Lure, and it's destroyed. Okay,
no.
it's still they reopened Chimney Rock, but it's never going to be the same. I mean, even the
No,
landscape of the river and the lake has completely changed.
it's all changed.
What
Yes,
part of North Carolina is Lake Lauren? Is that the eastern part?
yes,
Okay.
yes, ma'am.
My son
It's
just
it's the
went
it's
to
at
school
the
down there.
foothills of the Blue Ridge Mountains,
Okay.
and so I I had fumbled with whether or not I should leave Lake Lauren there, and I almost took it out, and then I said to myself, you know what, I can't, because if that's, and I know it's not, but if somebody reads my book and that's how, and like I'm very detailed in, that was probably more detailed in describing Lake Lore than I was in most of the book. But if I can detail how beautiful this place was before that hurricane hit
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
and keep that alive that way, because like Dirty Dancing was filmed there. The
Mm-hmm.
have y'all seen Dirty Dancing?
Mm-hmm.
So the steps where baby like does her like thing, like, oh, what about um those are gone now.
Oh,
Those are gone. And that was
Oh
like a big
gosh.
thing, like when you go to Lake Lore, you take pictures on the steps. People would like carry a whole dang watermelon so they could take a picture. I carried a watermelon. Um, so I was very detailed with that, and that was one thing I absolutely refused to take out, because I know you're not really supposed to be so specific. Like, there's a Charleston, College of Charleston, but there's not a Southern College of Charleston. But so it's Charleston University in the book. I was, made sure it wasn't a real university. You try to make sure, certain things are not real, because legality. That was one thing I refused to change. I mean, I don't think the town of Lake Lure will sue me for it, but if they did, they did. Like, I
No,
would
they
not.
won't. No. I love that area. We drove to Lit in Low Country. We drove this year in March.
I was
Um
there.
and I was there with my husband. Um and
I'm actually
we
signing this year coming up. I went from
oh
being uh influence ticket to hell of signing author. So yeah.
That's
Yay!
So we
awesome.
drove. So
Congratulations!
we live just out. We live just outside Nashville now,
Mhm.
and we drove to Charleston for lit, and the devastation when you're driving through the mountainside, when you get on the other side of Asheville,
Heal.
and the devastation getting on that freeway, and that freeway goes down to a 2 lane freeway. This 4 and 6 lane freeway goes down to 2 lanes, and literally there's no shoulder because it just drops off the edge of the world. It was just, it was the
It's
craziest thing.
still like that. There's so many roads
That was
here
just
that are
in,
still
yeah.
out. Um, I remember watching, like, I have this big bay window right here. This is like, this was our den. Now it's my office and my like photography studio, but whatever. But there's a big bay window right here, and I just sat in here and I just watched the trees like completely lay flat. Like I'd never seen anything like it. There was no lightning. I can't describe it. There was no lightning. There was no thunder. I'd never been through a hurricane. I live in upstate South Carolina. I'm 400 miles away from the coast. Never been through a hurricane. Nothing like it. Nothing ever. And then all I remember thinking, okay, it's over. It wasn't that bad. And it wasn't the actual hurricane part. It was the aftermath of it all. The aftermath of everything. And like the dam, 12:30. And people's like, and I remember people's like, well, why didn't they leave? You understand that we just went through a hurricane, that trees were blocking roads. You're talking about people on mountains. You only got one road.
Oh.
You ain't like you just drive off the side. They couldn't leave.
Yep.
And I remember watching the alerts come through, because that's how close we are to Lake Lure. We're watching the alerts come in. The dam's at this percent. The dam's at this percent. And if it went west and not east, if it went east, we would have been wiped out.
Mm.
But it went west towards Asheville. So, and it's very strange. Like we didn't have power. This town didn't have power for a week. And it's very strange because we were still like, you know what, all this sucks, but it's so much worse. And it was a very devastating time. Like I said, I fiddled with putting that in the book, and I did end up putting it at the very back about, Hurricane Elaine and what it did to Lake Lure and stuff, but that was rough. That was rough.
My husband and I were at a music festival in Louisville, Kentucky when it hit, and there were people there that were at that festival that were finding out they had nothing to go home to when they left that festival. Like they had driven from North Carolina to Louisville, Kentucky to be at this 4-day music festival, and there was nothing to go home to, no way to get home. My husband and I were helping pay for hotel rooms here in Nashville for people to stay in Nashville or outside of Nashville, because that's as close as they could get to going
The bad
anywhere
thing
around
is,
Asheville.
and I'm going to be honest, we're blessed. This town, we still have a lot that needs to be rebuilt. It still there's still trees down because you know what? They're still moving stuff. But there are so many people that are still, and I almost feel like when tragedy happens, it doesn't matter what whatever. I'm not going into that, but when tragedy happens and it's on the news and everybody's like focused on it, there's a lot of help. But isn't this like the next tragedy or the next thing happens and everybody forgets?
Mm-hmm.
And there are still so many people that are still not having stuff. There's still people missing. My cousin, her husband's family, they found her 6 on the side of like a mud bank, like not 6 weeks ago. So like it's sorry to put a damper on this, but like yeah, it's still very, very real here, if that makes sense. And I know like Florida and everybody, like they get hurricanes and stuff, but it's different when it's not. Nobody around here had hurricane insurance. Nobody had hurricane insurance. And insurance
Because you didn't
companies
need
don't.
it.
Exactly.
You didn't need it
No.
because you're not
But
in it.
even if you had hurricane insurance, they'd find a way to be like, well, it
So
wasn't the
here's the
hurricane, it was the
deal.
flooding after.
Oh, I
So
know.
Oh,
that's the
well,
deal.
see,
So
here we
I
have
lived.
flood because we're in the foothills, right?
Mm.
We have flood insurance. They reversed it back and said, no, it's hurricane. Like
So
our
in
basement, our basement flooded. We didn't get nothing
Mm.
because even though it flooded,
so
it's a flood. Oh, it's a hurricane. You don't have hurricane insurance.
That's
yeah, because
funny.
I lived on the Gulf Coast for about 30 years in Texas, and we had hurricane insurance, but you had to have hurricane insurance and flood insurance because it's two different types of things.
Yeah.
So I've lived through probably about 20 or 30 hurricanes, growing up where I grew up. But that one was just, nobody was expecting it. It just wasn't supposed to. And the fact that literally we were in Louisville, Kentucky, stuck in an Airbnb all day on a Friday because the hurricane was coming through Louisville, Kentucky. Like it lasted. It was still a low category 1 into Kentucky.
When
It
they
lasted.
when they clocked the winds here, when they went back and checked the speeds and stuff, in this town, I live in upstate South Carolina. I live on the line of North Carolina, like right on the line. Like seriously, it's 5 minutes up the road from me. I'm in North Carolina. Here they clocked it at 180 miles an hour, which is a Hurricane 3, Category 3. And yeah,
That's
I mean, oh,
It's crazy.
we just thought, we just thought it was going to be a storm. And
Mm.
wow.
She was
Yeah,
put
see,
together.
I lived in Florida. I lived in Central Florida. I've only been back in Ohio now about a year. And when the hurricanes hit down there, you have time to prepare, right? Some of the housing down there is, they use materials that are hurricane proof. So you have time. But up there, you're not used to that. They don't usually hit on that side of the coast.
oh,
And
yeah,
it's like my
okay, but
cousin
your
told
house.
me, like, you can come stay with me if you need to evacuate. You can come stay with me. She's in Uri, North Carolina. And I was like, don't think that's gonna help me very much
But
because
like, that's the thing. You got to realize some of these people, some of these mountains, like Black Mountains and stuff, these are mountains. These ain't just like little hills that somebody call. These are. Who the heck would think that they're going to get flooded
Yeah.
that high?
Mm-hmm.
And y'all got to realize this happened in. Well, not I talk sometimes. I
September.
talk blunt, and it might sound rude, and it's just my tone. I'm not being rude, so if I sound like I'm being, I hope it don't come off that way. But
No.
I don't think people realize that happened in September 26th. Okay, that is buried.
24.
Yeah, it happened in September. Those people in those mountains got their first snow Halloween night.
Mm-hmm.
You went from hurricane to snow
Mm-hmm.
and nothing. Yeah, my southern showing. I know it's okay.
In 35 days. It was a 35-day difference from the time the hurricane hit to the time of the first snowfall. 35 days.
That's crazy.
Because it was September 24th of 2024. Because I didn't get to see Slayer because that was the day it was rained out.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
So it like I said, it hit, and then that snowed on them. Like I said, we're at the foothills, so if that dam had went instead of Broad River, because Broad River comes straight through Cherokee County where I live. If it had went to the east instead of going west, it would have been us. And it's a weird thought to be like, oh God, because you don't want to say, oh, I'm so blessed it didn't hit us, because hey, the alternative is look,
Where else
it's a
did it
very
go?
weird feeling.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, look at Liv being all nice, giving up Thad.
No, but like I said, thank you again so much for
I'm
chatting with us. No, we
I
had
think
a great
y'all.
This is
time,
great.
and I feel like we've all connected with you, which just makes us love you even more and appreciate your book so much
Oh,
more because getting to know you and chatting with you, we can see how much you poured into your books. and we respect that even more because getting to know you, we already loved your books and felt them, raw and emotional, and then seeing the person behind the art, we're like, wow, she
Don't make
really
me
did.
cry. It's weird.
You really did dig deep and make yourself vulnerable and just pour it all onto paper. And I just commend you for that because that takes an immense amount of strength to bring that up, that especially something that triggers you, and pour it into words that we are allowed to read and experience. And I just want to commend you for that. And your writing is beautiful, and I hope you continue
Oh,
because we cannot wait to read more of your work. And I'm just so
Thank
happy
you.
that we were able to chat with you. And thank you so much for joining our lives and volunteering to come chat with us. It has been just an amazing evening, and I'm so lucky that we got to meet you and chat with you.
thank y'all.
Yeah, I mean, we genuinely had a great time, and I hope we can continue reading and working with you because, like I said, reading your
I'm
work and then finding out the person behind it, I just have so much respect for what you are doing. So I just want to thank you so much for making yourself honorable and putting
but
those hard work words into books for us to read and connect to you with. And I think that they hold a lot more
fireworks, everybody.
impact. They have a lot more impact than a lot of people will expect. And someone like me being able to connect to anything that you write, I just appreciate being seen. So thank you so much for doing that. We truly
Thank
do
you.
appreciate that.
All right. Thank you. Bye. Did you get your
Bye.
picture?
Oh, no, we didn't. All right.
Christina.
Sorry. I was